We're at the point now where we can start sewing, and what I wanted to go over first was how we thread the needle. Now, this is some wax coated thread, and it's made specifically just for leather. So you thread it like normal, but you feed the needle back through the thread at some point towards the end, and then as it passes over past the needle, it passes back on top of itself, and then it basically just kind of ties itself. Just kind of make sure you don't get a big gnarly knot on there, but it's just kind of a slip knot on there, and then kind of give it a couple of twists to kind of help keep it in place. And as you sew, the tension against it, it'll start slipping down, and you'll have to reposition it ever so often. Now the stitch itself, I've already started this. The stitch itself, you actually will put a needle on each end of the thread. So each end of the thread has a needle, and you start with it obviously evenly distributed through the leather, and you'll feed through one side like this. And I usually will go a couple of stitches, then back through the back side, find the hole. Just like that. And you can see here it skips a stitch essentially. That's what this other side will do. So I'll go a few spots, a few holes here, make sure it doesn't get twisted, kind of pull it tight, put that through the hole. And you can tell the holes are a lot harder to see on this side of the leather, so you kind of have to look for it, kind of feel for it a little bit. Just going to pull that tight. As you can see, I have a couple of, looks like missed stitches in there. So what I'll do is I'll take the other end here, feed it through, and it's essentially, you're kind of weaving the thread almost kind of like in a figure-8 pattern. So essentially it's an extremely strong stitch because it doesn't rely on any knots. It actually relies just on the strength of the thread and the material that you're sewing. So it's a very, very, very strong stitch. And the way you tie it off is just kind of go over an area a few times. And I've never had one come loose, and I've got some holsters I've used for a couple of years. And the other thing that I don't do, you'll see guys, they'll take the edger and they'll cut a stitch channel in there, and to kind of help protect the thread. But the thread actually, I pull it snug enough, it's actually down below. You can tell how well hidden it is on the back. I mean, like I said, I've got holsters I've used for a couple of years, and there's no sign of any wear or any fraying on any of the thread. So I don't do that. I don't really think it's necessary. I just sew it and just kind of move on. So just kind of give you an idea of how to sew. It takes some time, and you got to kind of pay attention. You can't goof up, and it's a lot harder to do this on camera than just doing it normally. But anyways, I'm not going to have you guys watch this whole thing of me just sewing. It'd get kind of old pretty quick. So the next time you see this, this will be completely sewn, and we will be gluing these two halves together. So stay tuned.